This exhibition, Eternal Ecstasy, an overview of the career of the artist, Jamie Reid, art director of the Sex Pistols artwork, and it looks at the work of Jamie Reid's practice over an expanse of 50 years. It's an exhibition between Peacock and the Worm and John Marchant Gallery, and it takes work from the archive that John Marchant oversees, and it looks at work from the Suburban Press years through the Sex Pistols and onto the later esoteric works of Jamie. I'm standing in front of the artwork made by Jamie, 1976. Jamie had been on the Isle of Lewis with his then partner, Sophie Richmond. Sophie Richmond instrumental in the early management of the Sex Pistols. And Jamie, who'd been at art college, great friends with Malcolm McLaren, and he sends a telegram to the Isle of Lewis, which is, even itself, we go back to 1976 and we think, well, that's the local post office, isn't it? And they must have went and found him. We've got a telegram for you, Mr. Reid. It's from London, and here he is, he's reading it, and it says, get back to London. I want you to do the artwork from a new band. And that part is very much known in history. The part that we found out about is because of Sophie's work with Aberdeen People's Press and Jamie's early work with the Suburban Press. They make their way to Aberdeen first, and they come here in 1976, and you've got to imagine Aberdeen in 1976. I mean, oil was found in the late 60s, and this is a town that's starting to, economically, it's starting to sort of prosper. And one of the things that was very much prospering in the town was the local art scene, because in '74 you had a brand new open access print workshop, Peacock printmakers, and they set it up with the ambition, when you step over the threshold of the Peacock building and you start using the equipment and making an artwork, you become an artist. And that's quite something to comprehend, because Peacocks really wanted to challenge the elitist nature of the arts, and they could very much do that through printmaking, because it immediately does it through producing multiples, because galleries were such slaves to the idea of the original that multiple was always anathema to the gallerist. So here you've got this young group of artists who have set up this print workshop. They were very ambitious that you should be, through their teaching, assistance, the environment, the equipment, you could become independent in the making of art. And when we think about the DIY aesthetic of Jamie Reid, who, when you read about Jamie and his experience through the Suburban Press and learning to use, a lithographic printer, not a great lithographic printer, and it's sort of not printing the material correctly, he started to sort of embrace the accident. And this very much aligns with that DIY aesthetic that Reid's so known for. If we go back to '76, when Reid was here that day, and we look at this print, it's a 2-colour screen print. And the wonderful thing about screen printing is you can make something very quickly. But if I can go back to Peacocks that day, wouldn't you have loved to have been a fly on the wall? Here's this guy, he'd not been in the building before, and you had maybe been watching someone write the word Sex Pistols and wondering, what the hell is that? Even writing sex was probably pretty risky back in '76. And what's lovely is last week the print came home, and we believe this is, through John Marchant, there's only 2 known prints in the world. One's in Prague, and we quickly, because it's his great friend Steve Jones that he pictured in the print. You've got to remember the Sex Pistols were already playing as a band, and he was friends with Steve, and he put Steve in the first image. So of course it seemed poignant to ask Steve to sign it, and we did. I met him in London. He signed 100 of them, and he spoke very warmly and affectionately about Jamie and the time together. and just how important Jamie was to the whole aesthetic. And he was really thrilled that, his name was going on this. And the lovely thing about this print is all the proceeds go back into running the same facility that Jamie found in 76. And I think that is a wonderful story.